is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets blow. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. To get champion, we can do it together. When we look at the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PNP. People said the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting high, I wonder when it all goes down, comrades. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. To get champion.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
Well, present afternoon, good evening, good night to all of my subscribers and other persons who are, tuning in at this time to tune into the Mystic Sensation live stream. For this morning, I will be doing everything, right? I will be, doing the production side of things as well, right? And of course, I think that Melting Pot will be joining later, right? But we have to proceed in doing right the people's work. Now, let me say this, Jamaica, that this morning live, we are going to address a variety of subject matters that's very critical and serious. And we are going to address them accordingly. But before we do that, the usual thing, I have to meet and greet my wonderful people, right? So let me just go through that in terms of the meet and greet the people. Okay, so we have Dorothy McCoy, bless up yourself, Dorothy. Beverly 975, bless up yourself. Elaine Turner, bless up yourself. Patel Krushank, Uriah, right, and Unique Ray, and Kelvin, bless up yourself. Let me see, we have Simon Moon Powell, right, and here we have Melting Pot in studio with us. So we are going to have Brother Melting Pot join in. All right, in between time, we are just going to, before we start, we are going to ask Brother Melting Pot to meet and greet his people, because as I said, tonight, we are going to touch on some very serious subject matter, right? So let me just have Brother Melting Pot to meet and greet, right, his wonderful brothers and sisters. Melting Pot.
Pleasant good afternoon to everyone.
All right.
Sensation, afternoon, event. So we are here this afternoon and we hope to please in the right way as usual, dissecting and disseminating all that is out there in recent event. So I just want to big up everyone. Ground Zero, hold tight, same way. 2 Mile, Kingston 13, the door 7, then Melting Pot there, hold tight. And to everyone worldwide, Mystic Sensation Live, yeah? And to the host, enough respect, Sir Lord Byron.
Blessings. All right. Now, Jamaica, I just came from over Lonesome channel because I, always tune in as it relates to the Titan Boss. And the Titan Boss were making reference of some issues. And I want to also, give my, perception to what Lonesome was speaking about as it relates to the DPP, right? Confirm that he is now prosecuting a case against Cameron, And we want to, dig a little in that, right? And of course, we are going to break it down. But let me say this, because this opened a lot of worms. This opened a can of worms, right? Which I am going to ask and put the Commissioner of Police, right, under this microscope, right, for clarity. To me, the Commissioner of Police is highly political, and we are going to prove it. And you know that when you come to Mystic Sensation and we are speaking on issues, right, we don't speak on issues unless we have the facts, right? And we are going to prove it this morning that the Commissioner of Police is highly political. Now, and that is wrong, right? When you're leading the Jamaica Constabulary Force to protect and serve the Jamaican people, you are not there to serve Andrew Holness and Andrew Holness' motives, right? Now, we are going to show the evidence as it relates to your situation. But first, let us just go to that clip as it relates to the DPP confirm, right? Pursuing a case against, right, the officer, right? Let us get into that. Now, this is just, crazy and try to politically malign, right? Let me just get into that. Right. Just give me a minute, my folks. All right. Meanwhile, people are tuning in. Okay, so apparently the system kicked out that. Let me just cancel this and go back into the system to get it. Right. Let me just put it up back. Let me just put it up back right here. We can help ourselves, so we are good where that is concerned. Yeah, I could just put up back that. All right, now we have it up. Let us just share this. Get back into it. Okay, now we have it. Let us just share it.
Prosecutions has recommended that charges be laid against Chairman of the Police Officers Association, Senior Superintendent Wayne Cameron.
The revelation came this afternoon from the Office of Director of Public Prosecutions.
Details in this report.
Director of Public Prosecutions, Claudette Thompson, confirmed with our news center that SSP Wayne Cameron will be charged with fraudulent conversion and larceny as a public servant. The issue stems from concerns raised by Commissioner of Police Dr. Kevin Blake about the finances of the Police Officers Association. In a sworn affidavit filed in response to a legal challenge by SSP Cameron, the commissioner said the last POA annual general meeting in 2022 revealed glaring contradictions and irregularities in the association's unaudited financial accounts. SSP Cameron was the only executive member with access to POA's bank accounts. The affidavit also noted that he refused to hand over control to the Secretary-Treasurer despite repeated requests. The commissioner last year declared the chairmanship of the POA vacant, a move which was challenged by SSP Cameron. A meeting of the association had to be halted after SSP Cameron challenged the commissioner's move to replace him. The Financial Investigation Division has also been called in to investigate the alleged irregularities. The probe involved the movement of a POA members' funds to personal accounts. Lakinsky Robinson, TVJ News.
Okay. All right. Since we have heard that, now this is where now the rubber meets the metal. Now, Commissioner of Police, I don't know the evidence that you have as it relates to your investigation against Senior Superintendent of Police Cameron. I don't know the evidence that you have collected. But this situation, as according to what we just listened to, right, is a situation that you're pulling back way from 2022. And then as a result of you having a situation with the Senior Superintendent of Police, right, you claiming that, okay, those evidence just finally, right, becomes now significant, right? And so then now you are bringing them forward now to the DPP. Now, what you have shown Jamaica, Commissioner of Police, let me tell you what you have shown Jamaica. You have shown Jamaica that, of course, you, the Commissioner of Police, can look into Andrew Holness' situation relating to corruption. You can look into other person's situation relating to corruption, and you can investigate, gather the evidence, and of course, work with the DPP for potential charges. Let me ask you the question now, Commissioner of Police. Since you show Jamaica that you have the authority, which you do, since you show Jamaica that the constitutional align for you to do that, and you have the powers to do that, let me ask you this question. Now, what are you doing with Andrew Holness' statutory declaration that not being certified? Not being certified, going more than 3 years. What are you doing about it? What are you doing with other corruption that has been taking place under the Andrew Holness administration? What are you doing? You have just confirmed to Jamaica, just confirmed, not only to Jamaica, you have just confirmed to the entire world that you have the powers where you can investigate and which, let me say, the Constitution gives you the right, gives you the power. I am not going to critique the DPP for this. If you gather evidence and brought the evidence to the DPP, and the DPP look at it and said, okay, all right, based on the evidence collected, I am going to go forward with a charge. I am not going to blame the DPP. Point blank and period. No blame for the DPP. Let me ask you in the same breath, why? You know that the Integrity Commission cannot certify Andrew Holness' statutory declaration based on he cannot explain his wealth. You know that it is going more than 3 years. Now you just came out and you told and you showed Jamaica how powerful you are, and which I do agree with you based on the Constitution. Tell me something, Commissioner of Police. Don't you see that as a double standard? Don't you see your political biases are coming out? Let me show the Jamaican public the vindictiveness that even when the court, right, try to discipline you, the Commissioner of Police, in terms of your victimization against the Senior Superintendent of Police, what you have done, you have appealed it. So it is because of this that now you're coming now with a level of vendetta. But let me say this to you, Commissioner of Police. This what you have done can be a double-edged sword where it is concerned. One, if the DPP, right, proceed and you lose the case against Senior Superintendent Cameron, let me say this to Cameron: grease up your palm, right, and definitely lawsuit him. Simple as that. Now, let us show the world as it relates to your level of vindictiveness. Let us get into the document. Let me just share this. Show the level of vindictiveness. So now you open a can of worm. You show the entire world that, okay, likewise, you can collect evidence as according to you, and you can gather the evidence and you can bring it to the DPP, and the DPP can file charges. We are asking you what happened to Andrew Holness' case. What happened to Andrew Holness' case? That is what we are asking you. And you need to come out now and explain to the people as to why you can make preparation in terms of gathering evidence, right? And of course, mount a charge against Senior Superintendent of Police Cameron, but you cannot do it against Andrew Holness. Now, the onus is on your shoulder to come and explain to the world why Andrew Holness, why you cannot take the same route, the very same route, and have Andrew Holness charged. Tell us why. Now, let me go into this document and show the Jamaican public. You open a can of worm, sir, right? Let me just share this document. Here it is, my Jamaican people. We are not hiding anything around here. You understand? And this was sent to me by one of the gazetted officers. One of your gazetted officers, because they don't agree with what you are doing. So here it is. This was sent to me by one of your gazetted officers. They don't know. They are not in agreement with what you are doing and your vindictiveness. Here it is. Take notice that the appellant, the Commissioner of Police, being the respondent in the proceedings before the Supreme Court, appeals to the Court of Appeal against the decision of Her Ladyship, Miss Justice A. Namar, the learned judge, made on the 9th of January 2026. A copy of the said decision is attached hereto. Now, the details of the order's appeal are: an interim injunction is granted restraining the respondent, whether acting in concert by himself, his servant, or agents, or otherwise, howsoever, from directing or causing to be convened any meeting of the Police Officers Association for the purposes of removing the applicant as chairman and appointed a chairman pro term or otherwise, pending the determination of the claim for judicial review or further orders of the court. The following findings of fact and law are challenged. In the present instance, the documentary evidence early disclosed that the POA was incorporated on 11th September 2023 as a limited company, a company limited by guaranteed and not having a share capital. It is equally clear from a careful review of the documentary evidence that this was after the impunged decisions were made. As such, it could not be said that the Commissioner of Police acted in accordance with our pursuit to the articles of incorporation of the POA at the time that he made the impunged decisions. Right? If the POA was not a limited company, not incorporated at the time of the impunged decision, the issue of its legal status at that time then becomes a live one. In those circumstances, the court is constrained to agree with the submission of the applicant that the respondent trespassed on the democratic process of the POA by virtue of the decision which he made. To the extent the court finds that in this regard, the applicant has demonstrated that he has an arguable ground for judicial review with a realistic prospect of success. This is what you are fighting, Commissioner of Police. This is what you are fighting. And using the police force as it relates to your personal grief, your personal vendetta. Right? Here it is. Born out in section 4 here. Born out in section 4 as it relates to Roman numeric numbers. To that extent, the court finds that in this regard, the applicant has demonstrated that he has an arguable ground for the judicial review with a realistic prospect of success in respect of the legality of the impunged decisions. Let me just take this document away. So, because the court ruled against you, you decided that you are going to be vindictive, right? You are going to be manipulative. You are going to now take on the journey of running your so-called investigation, gather your so-called evidence, right? And of course, you present to the DPP, and so then the DPP follow pursuit with charges. We are asking you, sir, why Andrew Holness and other criminal elements are out there and you chose not to do what you had done with SSP? It shows us that there is a biasness here. Now, you are talking about a situation that, right, is less devastating to the country, right, more than anything else. Less devastating. Where you have a situation where your priority lies. You have a situation where taxpayers' money. You have a situation where a health crisis with a Christopher Tufton. And you chose not to see any of those. You chose not to see any of those. And you and your hypocritical self coming out. You and your gang coming out, so-called gathering evidence. Give it to DPP. For DPP to charge Senior Superintendent of Police Cameron. Well, let me ask you, what happened to Christopher Tufton? What happened to Andrew Holness? What happened to Wheatley? What happened to Darrell Vaz and the boss? Are you gathering evidence in those situations? Let me ask you, are you gathering the necessary evidence in those situations to prepare, particularly where Darrell Vaz is concerned? It goes to you are disgusting and a despicable so-called Commissioner of Police. You are highly political. Come out and tell Jamaica. Come out and tell Jamaica. That same way, when they're talking about splitting justice, splitting fairness, why that you have gathered the evidence as it relates to against Senior Superintendent Police, but you choose not to do it against Andrew Holness. You choose not to do it against Christopher Tufton. You choose not to do it against Xavier Main. You choose not to do it against Darrell Vaz. What's stopping you? What's stopping you? You have given away yourself and you open a can of worms. So what is stopping you? So you need to come out and tell us. What is stopping you? You sit there as it relates to the Prime Minister. Case have to go to FID. You do nothing. And yet you have the power. And I'm glad that you show them that you have the power, and indeed you have the power. So why you are not investigating them? In comparison, if such investigation that you are doing, right, align with any merit, which I doubt, what is the priority that you are going to take in terms of which one of these cases is more crippling to the Jamaican society? So then let me ask you, where is your priority decision? Where your priority lies? Let me just back and bring in Melting Pot because of worries this morning. You know? Melting Pot?
Yes. Well, I mean, you're talking about opening up can of worm. He has just opened up new grounds. This is new grounds that he has opened up in relation to him having the power and executing the power of investigation. And, even making arrests and submitting all type of high-level criminality cases to the DPP. But as far as I'm concerned, this is a case of personal vendetta. We all knew what transpired between him and SS Cameron. And as such, he has seek to, execute a vendetta as it relates to SSP Cameron, removing funds from the Police Officers Association members for his personal wealth. So, I mean, all of these information is new information that is coming forward since the altercation between him and SSP Cameron. You understand? And we are certain of the fact that we have never seen him pursue any other event, in terms of doing investigation in high-level corruption, where he, as the Commissioner of Police, has the knowledge of what took place. But those cases are left uninvestigated from his point of view. Now you rightly point out several members and several ministry. And I mean, he is well adverse to what is happening in those ministries. And we are talking about the same commodity as in the case of SSP Cameron removing funds from the POA to his own personal account. Now we have seen ministers removing funds from ministry to their own personal account. And we have never heard him come out in regard to taxpayers' money. Because, I mean, it seems like where friends are, participant of an event, he has no, interference or nothing to make comment. But in the case of someone who is up against in a personal scenario, then he goes all out on the attack to bring, evidence submitted to DPP for prosecution of individual. So we want to see this new ground that in break. Yeah? We want to see it kept in the similar line of investigation and prosecution. Because we can't have a commissioner of police in the country who is just merely doing things that suit himself and the party that him represent. We want a commissioner that, look across the length and breadth of Jamaica and covers criminal activity and bring it to justice. We don't want a commissioner that have personal vendetta against individual from the same members that he is a member of, from the same membership that he is a member of. Because where personal vendetta is concerned, we are not going to entertain it unless it's valid. And in the case of this circumstance, there are a lot of mitigating circumstances surrounding it from the incept of the event. And so, he coming out on the wrong side of the justice system in the first occurrence. That's why I'm pursuing Cameron in this regard now. submitting evidence to the DPP and asking that, Mr. Cameron be prosecuted for moving funds from the Police Officers Association to his own personal, account. But if that can be proven, we don't have any problem. But make sure it can be proven. Because as Byron rightly said, if you come out on the wrong side of this investigation, when it go in a court, Mr. Cameron must make sure no same sue you for almost everything where you possess. Because he's a corrupt commissioner. And a lot of members from your rank and file JCF administration is not in favor of the way you're going about dealing with things. And I mean, we know why you're trying this type of, unwanted and unnecessary vendetta. Because where you is concerned, you're a thin-skinned guy. You're just like Andrew Wallace. When things don't go in your favor, you attack people. Yeah? I remember you're not even a fully fledged policeman as far as I'm concerned. Because you don't know about nothing of the force, Nobody don't know where you come from and spring up to prominence. Nobody hear about you, apart from you having accident as a drink and drive cop. But because they have a affiliation member who used to sit in the same chair where you sitting at, who is still meddling in the JCF affair on a day-to-day basis, you find yourself now as a top cop in the country. And your top cop doesn't seem to coincide with justice. The curry flavor top cop situation you play around with, going after people who have, reason to challenge you. And then now participating and collaborating with the Prime Minister to do a lot of garbage as the commissioner, so-called commissioner. This is why you find yourself into hot water. This is why you are breaking so much protocol since you've been in the hot seat. And you're not doing your work that you're supposed to be doing, that the taxpayers is paying you for. Hefty salary you're getting, for doing nothing. Because when we look at your situation, you have broken the protocol of being a commissioner. You have been out on your weekend adventure using the state resource, creating mayhem. Breaking the protocol of your marriage, not living up to the standard and the reputation of what a commissioner is supposed to be. Yeah, we have known about your involvement in CTAX. Yeah, we have seen in recent days that you have removed an investigation team who went and investigated CTAC. And we are talking about FNID. You understand? And so we know you don't have the unilateral power to do what you did then. So we know who we have to look upon for you to get that go-ahead authority. We have to look at the Prime Minister, because the Prime Minister is currently the Minister of National Security as well. Yeah? And we know it's the Minister of National Security, Dr. Crab, who sits above you, Droopy. You understand? But being the fact that the Prime Minister is deputizing for this uncharacterized Minister of National Security that we have who can't travel, yeah? We know you have collaboration with Andrew Wallace the other day, and you move FNID from CTAC, because what is going on in CTAC, is a high ring of corruption, and you seem to find yourself wherever corruption arises. Yeah? Remember, over 100 kilo of cocaine, which equates to over 200 pounds, has been stolen from CTAX and is out there now on the market. Remember, a lot of firearms that come into the country recently is out there on the market. Policemen using them whenever they go out and carry out mayhem in society, planting them upon innocent people after them number 3 them. So as a commissioner, I know you are privy to what I'm saying, but you do not act in regard to the things that you hear is happening within the society. All we see you doing is running your own personal affair, running your own show. You're not running the affair of the Jamaican people, which is to serve, protect, and reassure, because that is still a mandate of your protocol as a so-called policeman from the time you went to training school, Twickenham Park. Okay? So we look at you as a no-good commissioner, a commissioner who's supposed to vacate the post, a commissioner who has never come out and speak on the high importation of cocaine and the high importation of illegal gun into Jamaica. You have not come out and speak about all those video footage that you see your personnel them carrying out execution style number 3 on Jamaican citizen. Right? I can recall the first day I took the job, what took place from Mario Sterling.
Use a minute to finish up, because bear in mind that we have several topics to cover and we don't really want to spend a lengthier time on any one topic, and we may not get to cover all the topics. All right? Yeah.
Yes, I've seen where on the first day I took the post, yeah, Mario Sterling was the topical discussion. And there was video footage that you, I'm sure, have looked at. And I've never heard you come out and make one word of justification for the family of Romario Sterling. And I yield back the floor to you, Sir Byron.
All right. Blessing on that, melting pot. Powerful punch. Now, as one of our persons in the chat say, what happened to the Patrick Bailey case? Right? The Patrick Bailey case is under your responsibility, Commissioner of Police. And what are you doing? Right? You are not investigating, you're not interrogating Patrick Bailey, right? And then it shows you double standard. But here you swiftly, right, accusing the senior superintendent of police, Cameron, to be a PNP affiliate. And so then you are carrying out all the actions necessary in your power that you can carry out against him to manipulate him. But here it is, that you have an open case as it relates to Patrick Bailey. What are you doing to Patrick Bailey? Are you investigating the situation with Patrick Bailey, a number 3 that committed in his house, and where there was no entry from outside? Are you doing that? No. So what you are doing is a puppy show, clown business you are doing, and show your hands that you are politically biased. And you're definitely unethical behavior. You have lost your moral compass. You're a disgrace to the Jamaican society. That's all I'm saying to you. And I leave it there. Now, my Jamaican people, I want to highlight something from the press conference today, because we want to touch some more serious topic, including a particular threat that made by a JP supporter. We are going to touch that. That is very, very serious. But let us just cruise down before we touch that. I was surprised at the press conference. And again, let me applaud Comrade Leader Mark Golden and the PNP team, Nikisha Burchell, and of course, Dr. Daz, who showed professionalism, who showed that when they go low, we go high. Classmanship exhibited. Now, the PNP conference this morning was about highlight the level of breakdown in the healthcare. And as such, that created a health crisis. Think of what we are saying. Christopher Tufton came out and several campaigns and bragged, hand in the ear, shout it out loud with amplifier, saying his administration in the history of Jamaica politics is the administration that spend most money on the healthcare. Moving the budget from $60 billion to $140 billion. But here are the facts of the reality. One, Auditor General report. Flag. Christopher Tufton's ministry, where $700 to $800 billion unaccounted for. Facts two, the technicians of the healthcare, nurses, doctors, and so forth are now coming out and said enough is enough. We don't have the basic necessities. So then it begs to ask the question, isn't that Christopher Tufton bragged on several political campaigns saying that it is the Jamaica Labour Party administration who had spent the most and increased the budget to have spent now over $140 billion? Then why are we having this? And why are we seeing the graphic breakdown? No beds, MIR machines, right? Basic necessities that could hold up our healthcare system. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And the entire health system is in a free fall. So, comrade leader, right? Nikisha Burchell and Dr. Alfred Dawes, who is a doctor by profession. And not only that, he's a doctor by profession. Years of experience beneath his bed. And now Dr. Dawes willing to extend his service above and beyond by now want to now take on the political side of things where he can make decisions and policies that can see our healthcare, you understand, for what, right, the People's National Party mandate wanted it to be, for service for the people of Jamaica. But what I observed today as it relates to the press conference, my people, was that journalists who were asking questions seems to try to use particularly journalists from NNN. And we know that is a political spin machine for the Jamaica Labour Party. They did not see the critical nature of the press conference. Neither have they understood, right, as it relates to what seriously concerning to the citizens of Jamaica, that our health crisis is in a state of dilemma, a state that it is slipping down the abyss of hell, and a real crisis exists. But here it is, that for most of the journalists who asked questions, I was shocked in terms of the questions that they asked. There seems to be more attacking the opposition in identifying one item of a wide report that speaks generally of the failure of a system. But as the NNN targeted a particular company that may have aligned with the People's National Party, they tend to use that. But what was Mark Golding's response to that? A class response, professional response, a response that Andrew Holness in no way, shape, or form, no time can do. Mark Golding stood there, championed the cause for the Jamaican people, and said, the People's National Party will proceed as it relates to transparency and balance. As it relates to the People's National Party position. As it relates, let the ships fall where they may, and we will deal with it accordingly. Let the chips fall where they may. Not only that, Mark Golding had spoken about that. Mark Golding had exercised strong example of the People's National Party principles. Do you remember the case that happened at Trelawney, where the candidate at the time came out and spoke about scamming and giving some light to scamming? What did Mark Golding do? What did Mark Golding do? Mark Golding step out, hold the bull by the horn, and said, you are wrong. And as such, we are going to stand by the party's principle and disassociate ourselves from your comment. Dennis Meadows had suffered what we call a political career write-off. Let us make comparison with Andrew Holness. The court, the Jamaica court, found Dalrymple guilty of criminality, using her discount for nefarious means. The court of Jamaica found her guilty. What did Andrew Holness did? Said, the people in Dalrymple constituency strongly requesting that Dalrymple needs to be back in the show. He did not concern about corruption and criminality, because in himself, without no apology, is a criminal. And so then what we have seen a criminal endorsing a criminal. So what Mark Golding had done today, show the world, put it up on the ice light post, put it up on Blue Mountain that measures 7,402 feet above sea level, that Andrew Holness cannot nowhere, shape, nor form do and say what Mark Golding said today in the press conference. And with that, let us show you some highlight of the press conference. Let us get into that, my Jamaican people. This is despicable. And I somewhat sort of disappointed also with Dara Burton. Let me add that. Very much disappointed as it relates to your nature of question. Right? And I'm surprised as it relates to that coming from Zara Burton. Not surprised from the NNN so-called propagandists. No surprise there. That is expected. But Zara Burton, I am disappointed. And I will leave it at that. Now, let us look at this. Let us share this, my Jamaican people.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dawes. I come to this matter as somebody who was born and grew up on the university campus. My father served at the University Hospital of the West Indies for over 40 years to the date of his death. And as a youngster, I used to frequently visit Ward 17, which was the ward that he headed, on Christmas Day, giving out presents, etc. So when I see this cherished institution, which was the leading light of the University of the West Indies as a tertiary institution, and had built a reputation of excellence over many years, coming to this point, this very low point, where the Auditor General has exposed system failures, governance weaknesses, malfeasance, procurement violations, and where anecdotally one hears on a regular basis the dire situation faced by people who come to the hospital and need medical care. It really is a travesty, and it pains my heart as somebody who has this long-standing familial connection with the institution. This is a government that doesn't hold its leaders to account. There's no accountability within the Andrew Holness administration. We have a Minister of Health who has gone from one scandal, one massive failing to the next. From the Cornwall Regional Hospital debacle, still unresolved, the dead babies situation, and there's no accountability. And this situation at the University Hospital is one that he cannot wash his hands of. The reason being that he was responsible for disbanding the board of the hospital that had commenced a process of getting the systems, the governance, and the management of the hospital into a state of good order. Commenced, most importantly, a CEO recruitment process. And that was a professional and transparent global search for a suitably qualified and experienced person to take over as the chief executive officer of the hospital. And a firm that was experienced with Government of Jamaica protocols, received over 40 applications, shortlisted 6 qualified candidates, and the board's Human Resources Subcommittee unanimously selected a top candidate who happened to be from overseas. That board also implemented successfully long-stalled hospital information management systems that have been inactive since 2017. And they had revived that from in 2022, 2023, and were getting that on track. And an internal audit had uncovered irregularities in contract awards and purchasing, and the board detected suspected fraud in the payroll department, and that had led to arrests. And the board initiated measures to recover over 30% of potential billing revenue that was being written off or uncollected before their tenure. This was a board that was working. This was a board that was seeking to address deep structural problems in the governance and management of the hospital. The account of the then chairman of the board that was dismissed, I think, in December 2023, speaks to the selected CEO candidate having withdrawn due to unwarranted pushback from elements that were opposed to this positive change. Prevention of the automatic permanent appointment of the acting CEO. Seeking to do that, the board voted to appoint another senior director as acting CEO because they were faced with a situation where the chosen person was effectively driven out. and they did not want to return to the status quo, which they were seeking to move away from in a positive direction. And that is when the minister intervened, overturned that board decision, insisting that the former acting CEO remain and that the search for a new manager, new CEO be restarted. The then chairman resigned on December 4th in the face of this interference, stating that the situation he had found himself in was untenable. And the minister then dissolved the entire board and appointed a new one. That is the context in which this Auditor General's report must be seen. This Auditor General's report that has uncovered numerous serious failings in governance, procurement, and general management. It has happened under the watch of this minister, a minister who has interfered in an attempt, a legitimate and bona fide attempt by a previous board to rectify the situation. Most importantly, from going through a process to recruit a suitable and qualified person to take over the day-to-day responsibility of Chief Executive Officer, a process that was thwarted and the status quo was allowed to remain, and we see where we are now in a mess. The buck stops with the minister. The University Hospital is too important to Jamaica's national development for this to be allowed to go with no one being held accountable. It is just another incident in the litany of malfeasance, of corruption, of nepotism, which has been a feature of the Andrew Holness government for the last 10 plus years. And although the frequency of these incidents is such that people tend to become immune to them, it is our responsibility as the opposition to bring it to the attention of the people of Jamaica and to frame it in the appropriate context so that people can recognize the dangers of allowing these things to go unchecked without proper accountability for those whose responsibility it is to prevent these things from happening or to take the right steps to move forward and solve them. And that is why we call this press conference today. Thank you.
Now, there you have it. If you have questions and you're in the room, please indicate by raising your hand and we'll get a microphone to you. Please say your name and the news agency you represent. If you are online via Zoom platform, please use the raised hand icon. We will acknowledge you. If you wish to speak, you'll be acknowledged and you'll be permitted to go ahead, or we can read a message and question.
So my Jamaican people, I want you to pay attention as it relates to the questions that these so-called journalists been asking. Nothing as it relates to what Mark Golden addressed. The high level of the continuation of corruption, right? The misappropriation. No form of question point to those. But Big Mama station zoom in on one single item to deflect, losing the entire picture. Let us listen to this.
For you, if you put it in the chat.
Good morning. My name is Nakinski Robinson. I'm from TVJ News. My question is for the opposition leader. Mr. Golding, the medical company owned by the party is chairman for Region 3 and MP for East Central St. Andrew, Dennis Gordon, has been linked to benefiting from the unlawful tax cuts at the University Hospital. Now, in light of your tough stance against corruption, how are you treating with this matter?
Now you see, this is how Andrew Holness extended arm And that is one of the reasons why Andrew Holness also controls the Public Broadcasting Corporation of Jamaica. That is under the Prime Minister's control. So then when this lady of the TVJ coming out asking a question like this, missing the entire big picture of corruption, zeroing in now on this situation. Now to ask Mark Golding a question like this, obviously, Mark Golding is not a part of any investigation. The Auditor General and the police need to be asked the question that you ask. You need to ask, you understand, those investigators? Right? When you have an active investigation, what is it that you're asking of Mark Golding? Where that active investigation, that ongoing investigation, this is how dunce you people are. This ongoing investigation has not revealed definitively that this person committed anything wrong. So then for you to want Mark Golding to speak on an ongoing investigation, Mark Golding is not the investigator. Mark Golding is certainly not the investigator, so what kind of hell question that you ask? So you see that you are tying to the political interest to gear a political narrative that, guess what? Yes, look at the PNP, because the PNP corrupt too. You making that determination, leaving that political rhetoric out there without an investigation be completed. This is highly irresponsible. Anyway, let us listen.
At this point, the only formal investigative report we have is the Auditor General's report. And that report does not name any specific company as being involved in anything. It points out that certain companies appear to have received certain benefits and raises real concerns about that. And when those matters are formally investigated, the chips will have to fall where they lie. But at this juncture,
here is your answer. When those matters formally investigated, then the ships will fall where they may.
Sure, I'm not prepared to talk about any specific company because none has been named in any official report. And all you're going on is things that have been said by certain media houses. And I don't want to engage in that.
See them there, people. See them there.
Follow up to that question, Mr. Golding. Siobhan Campbell from Nationwide News. The matter raised by...
Yes, Mr. Pisa A. You Pisa, I don't want to really get so upset that I lost professionalism. So let me just, heal back, because I know that children may be watching us as well, and we want to be as decent as possible. But obviously, sir, as it relates to who you align with, right, that you have not seen the bigger picture with your myopic view. And so then you're coming out as the GLP bulldog, the GLP attacker. To do what? Simply protect the status quo of criminality. You haven't heard what Mark Golding speaking about as it relates to the high level of breaking downs? You haven't heard nothing like that? And the general picture that a government is not being accountable as it relates to procurement matters, Nothing of that nature concern you. Mighty God. Let us hear you.
By my colleague. Have you actually raised it with the chairman of Region 3, that's Dennis Gordon? Has he given you an explanation or an answer regarding the allegations raised?
First of all, I just want to wish your CEO, I assume he's your CEO, your leader in Nationwide, a speedy recovery from his recent health challenge. I hope he recovers well and quickly. And in terms of your question, I've had discussions with the person to whom you referred. Those discussions are not matters that I would disclose the details of. Suffice to say, he knows my position because my position is not new. And he agrees with my position that, chips must fall where they lie if there's anything in any kind of allegation. But at this juncture, he has maintained that he has.
Well said, comrade leader. The chips will fall where they may. Let me take it away. Melting Pot, give me your response on this situation where those piece of junk of journalists, right, try to deflect from the real issue. Your take on the matter, Melting Pot.
Well, those journalists are unqualified, unprofessional, and unauthorized to speak to Sir Mark G. Because if you don't have nothing good to say to the leader of the opposition in regard to the minutes of the moment, don't come with no garbage. The press conference was called to highlight all the high-level corruption activity that is taking place at University of the West Indies Hospital. And I think that everybody here as journalists, yeah, but we know them to be so-called journalists, should be well aware what the topic of the day is all about. So when the leader of the opposition outlined all that has taken place under Christopher Tufton administration, all the things that he has gone there and tampered with as it relates to the administration staff of the University of the West Indies, removing the CEO that was chosen by a highly professional organization that the government of Jamaica has used in the past to conduct this type of, search for individual to fill top posts. And he has gone there and tear down that, interfere with it, till the chairman have to walk away, till him have to reconvene back the previous CEO, and everything was a shamble. And we know what took place after that. You understand? $521 million unaccepted, staffing, people working at 50% capacity, the things that are there run down and everything is in a shamble. Now that is the basis of the press conference. So when Robinson from TVJ, I go ask Marky G about Dennis Garden ongoing case. Robinson not garbage. Marky G will not disclose any matter that involve an ongoing case, regardless of who is at the center of the controversy. Because Mark Jefferson Golding, as leader of the People's National Party, is a brilliant Jamaican, first and foremost. And he knows fully well the ins and outs as it relates to matters that are in front of the court. All right? So that question was, not in keeping with the minutes of the moment. Siobhan Nasty Campbell from over big nasty thinking dirty mama. Yeah? I asked if Dennis Garden has given any information in regard to the case. What piece of blow the bollocks I come out of mouth. Marky G not entertain that because the same question the previous journalist from TVJ asked, and him should I hear the response. Him not ask no question different. Him going to phrase it in a different paragraph, but at the same question. But, you know, we know the spin doctor them, and we know the disruptor them, and we know who them aligned to, yeah? And them come there trying to, you know, deflect from the press conference, high topical point of discussion, which is corruption. Deflecting from UHWI corruption is deflecting from the matters that concern Jamaican. And so these so-called journalists must shove them head in a bucket of shaving cream. Because I cannot understand why it has become the norm for journalists to get involved in politics in the way that they speak bias against a particular party and in favor of a corrupted regime. So this is a cause for concern in Jamaica because worldwide journalists play a pivotal role in society. Journalists are charged with the responsibility of going out there, conducting interviews to hold high-level officials accountable. And where we find in Jamaica, these journalists are political affiliated members. These are journalists that Jamaican society can do without. This is why platforms like social media, yeah, has now become the people voice. The people do not want to listen corrupted journalists using narrative that they shape from within their own association, because the whole association of them, all of them intertwined in a Jamaica, and come out to attack credible people who speak with authority and morality as it relates to Jamaican matters at hand. We know Jamaica have a systematic problem where accountability is concerned, and where in the case of UHWI $521 million that the minister with that ministry, which is tough tongue, trying to distance himself, saying that it is down to the permanent secretary and the procurement that they carry out and all these type of narrative that don't add up to nothing. Tough tongue must have been aware fully well that the budget that is being allocated for that institution, the institution is not benefiting from that budget based on the shortcoming in terms of things that the hospital need that it doesn't have. But yet still the money was put aside to make, you know, available for those commodities. But the simple fact of the matter that him go there and change the administration, you know, who is charged with the responsibility of providing information in regard to procurement and, you know, far-reaching events that took place within the institution. And where we find that there has been no procurement for the past 6 years, it shows that something must have been orchestrated, organized, and executed, where the fund of UHWI is now unaccounted for, and where we have seen several thousands of items that been imported that was not imported for the use by UHWI, which has been gone through a rigmarole method of what you call IC commercial. Yeah? Where things have been brought in under the UHWI, but been sold by private entrepreneurs running their own private enterprise, making millions of dollars and depriving the taxpayers' fund of millions in revenue. based on using the tax waiver that is available. So we have to call a spade a spade. And Mark G come out and call the spade for what it is. And seeking, reality in terms of investigation being conducted and people being charged. That is the reality sense of this high-level corruption. People has to be charged. But here is some garbage journalists coming out now, trying to throw a spanner in the works, to deflect from the real issue that is being discussed. And we have a problem with that. And so, Jamaican people, we are saying that you all have to be steadfast now. You all have to pull your weight in one direction, because hospital covers everyone. Everyone will at some point in time in their life will have to go and visit the hospital, whether directly or indirectly. So if you don't sick to go and you have a son or a daughter or your mother and them sick to go and them cannot get the treatment that is required, that the health care minister has boast lavishiously that his administration spend the most money on. I mean, increasing it from 60 billion to 140 billion. That is 80 billion increase. But what has Jamaican seen for that 80 billion increase? We have seen anything, but we have heard a lot of things, a lot of corruption as it relates to market me. 85 million gone down the drain. Cornwall Beryllium Hospital can't finish going 3 term. UA, the drill, and all the bangarang as it relates to even Wentworth Charles giving out $3 billion contract to Kenny Benjamin security firm for down at the Western Children and Adolescents Hospital, where Dwayne Smith was given a $2.5 billion contract for providing food for the patient at the institution, but we only see crackers and cheese. And we have heard nothing else. And we have seen it all. Where the hospital them don't have anything, but Tough Town come and say FEMA administration spend the most money out of any other administration. They haven't spent the most money, people. They have allocated the most money, but they have chopped the most money. We have a problem with that. Market G have a problem with that. Civil society in Jamaica should have a problem with that. So I'm asking the question, why the journalists them do have a problem with that? Why haven't Big Nasty thinking mama ask the question then when should I ask Andrew Holness? Why the other journalists them don't call Tough Tongue and ask him and grill him from the $521 million scandal we're up at UHWI, where it can be seen from far afield that it was designed specifically to operate like that. What responsibility role does Tough Tongue have in regard to the administration staff at UHWI? As far as I'm concerned, he doesn't have that power. The senior medical personnel them are them supposed to put together the best in class where the administration department is concerned. Not Tough Tongue who only have a PhD and calling himself doctor. You understand? We're talking about a real doctor like Dr. Daz who has gone in and uncovered these mispractice, these malfeasance. Well, you could have called it feast too, because a pure shit are going up there, so. You understand? So we have to just, be wise in how we choose to ask questions as Jamaican. And in regard to these journalists, they weren't wise. They were stupid as an ass. And I yield back the floor to you, Sir Byron.
All right. Blessings, melting pot. Let me just catch in terms of where we are going, because where we are going, right, is very serious. Now I have to address a situation of dangerous threat meted out. Hold on, let me just answer Pat here. Yes, Sister Pat, Mystic Sensation, my dear. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my sister.
Blessings.
I'm watching conference and with Marky G and them people. And it called for concern.
Oh, yes.
Deep concern. And I said to the Jamaican people in the diaspora and on the island, want to see what country really ahead to?
Exactly.
Imagine the university hospital in Jamaica, I want to go. We train doctor, we train every personnel in the medical field. And it is going down. And we are trying to preserve it. And look on where the journalists, them ask the question, everybody divert from the main fact. And you miss out where you call it nationwide man with your face, I try the mystic, I'll tell you where your face favor. I go ask Mark Jefferson Golden. Say, after the passing of Melissa, the money and the donation we collect, if he plan to use it, transparency and tell people, what a workless, dirty thinking, nasty, dirty boy.
Can you imagine?
Why you know go ask the Prime Minister for the trillions of dollars we get, and the people them down a West Ada top all in same way. You know, see that more appropriate for ask. Mark Jefferson Golden and a Prime Minister. He is our opposition leader, and we see him all about and donate whatever he can in our own capacity and in the way people give. And we see him and give people and give away well-needed things. And you always give nobody nothing. You nationwide, you don't give nobody nothing. Brother, if you go away, you know, people are talking about Cliff Hughes. Well, me not text it because people can buy no it more brain. But let me tell you something, man. Uno are part of this country downfall. And see like how Uno a real free country go down fi serve one man. One man we have 2 foot, 2 balls supposed to 1 penis, 10 finger, 10 toe, like every other else man. Who will take this man and put him on a pedal and I worship him like God and Jesus Christ and bring down no one native people. I say, we prepare for what to come, because when my God lick on you know, you have to go take lick. Eh? And all of the media and them, Byron, it cut deep.
Of course it cut deep.
We may know, we are talking about shoes. And that shoes we are talking about. And you ask about how stop. I mean, I come across about how stop. And then now look at the Prime Minister and say, Prime Minister, how you just try to declare can't clear. Then I ask them the hard question there. And these people believe to say, these things will happen now. It's not going to happen done. No. If we don't continue, it's going to continue to with children. And we automatically go back to where none of them fight for. We are going to take time to creep right back in a slavery. Me might be around to see, but me know me are going to pick in my lineage. And them are going to suffer. This country need to stand up. I mean, I call for the PMP woman movement. Let us start. And when we start, we follow. This is too much now. It is too much. It is too much. Andrew Wallace and his company get away too much. Christopher Tufton. Andrew Wallace say, you know, when Azad, you know, say it that Iman Predator that dark there in a Jamaica, and the whole Jamaica should have hang their head lower for 6 little star or 5 little star. And we call this now the institution where we have a Jamaica We serve the region. We serve the region to train our doctors and nurses. And we bring it in a dispute and bring it on. And you tell me, say, nobody when in the media land, no journalists we say they have much seats, they have much masters and this and that. Who not see the effect of it? He said, no, it can't work like so. Who not see that? Who not making little dance people out there where who not really can't see one, no? Hello, let me tell you no. You see why they when Melissa blow? He blew by everybody up the trap where walk, he not pick up nobody. And look, I've called this in February. Come June, it's our next season again for hurricane. And I can tell you, say, see them like how the people them down there in Chapalin. If diaspora people not jump in, the next hurricane I go catch them same place. And that's what we talk about. And I heal back till
all right, Sister Pat. Thank you for your input. Well said. Love it. Yes. Now, Jamaica, we are going to touch a very serious subject matter. Right? I was surprised when I got this information. Really surprised that someone would have been so stupid. That person has to be walking on her head. And over the internet had threatened one of us. And where serious death threat leveled against the PDTV chief personnel. Why this is important for us to address this? Because what she had communicated as it relates to the threat, we are wondering now if it is a part of the Jamaica Labour Party plan so that if any of us who traveling back and forth to Jamaica and here, Canada, United States, England, or wherever, and we speak out against the government, it is likely that we could be number 3. I am addressing this because I am not going to leave it here. We are going to take this to the highest level of justice. We are going to take this to the respective jurisdiction. As a matter of fact, the person offense that committed both affected 2 jurisdictions. One, the United States, and one, Jamaica, as it relates to the Cyber Bulletin Act. I am going to show that person. Let me say this, that when we done here, we are going to make a perfect example out of this person. We are going to ensure that this person is totally off social media. One, take it from me. We are also going to make sure that this particular threat puts straight in the judiciary. And we are going to definitely proceed on 2 separate jurisdictions. We are going to show you your greatest mistake that you have ever made. Why should be anyone being killed as it relates to their political, his or her political affiliation? Why is anyone deserve to be killed as it relates to he or she speaking the truth? that threat was unwarranted and uncalled for. And let me tell the person exactly what I am going to do. Beginning in terms of tomorrow, I will be organizing the relevant authorities to pursue this particular case and put it where it belongs. Justice must be done with this. I am not going to expose myself and make this become just a political rhetoric. We want to know if this is a plan within the Jamaica Labour Party, so that persons, any one of us, whether Andre Stevens, the professor, whether Anessa Belrose, Talk Your Mind, Lonesome, Rattigan, you name it. And because we are speaking for checks and balance and good governance, we are going to be threatened. Well, my Jamaican people, everything that I'm going to present to you is what I assembled in videos, that I am going to present it to relevant persons and with a report relating to the date and time when the threat was made, and for the authority to seek this person and execute a notice on this person. This person has to come off social media. She's a political antagonist. And we are doing this, that anyone out there who have any plan to want to effect harm on any of us, we are going to set an example out of she, so that you understand where we are going. Now, let me begin in terms of breaking down. Everything that you see that I'm going to show is what we are doing into a particular file that is going to be attached by a particular report and sent to the relevant people. I am not taking this light. And let me say this categorically clear. As a matter of fact, I didn't even speak to Andre on this. So don't you ever believe that it is Andre who instructed me, you understand, to deal with this matter. This is a very serious matter. You have done this threat over the internet. This has nothing to do with Andre Stevenson communicating with me. I find this to be personally vindictive. And that includes all of us. All of us. And we are going to take it to the highest level. This is beyond Andre Stevenson. So we are going to take it personally and put it in the judiciary. We are telling you. We are not asking you. Now let me get into that. Unbelievable. Right? Unbelievable. So let me just begin with the introduction of the political spin machine, because just like how you see I am presenting it now, you understand, also a report is going to be attached.
The people you see making all kinds of videos, the people you see posting all kinds of lies, not even nonsense, lies, daily, weekly, systematically, they are not doing it for free. They are being paid to do so. They are highly coordinated.
Me love you no bad. To our social media warriors like Keisha Mack, Alex Higgs, Selena, Oral Campbell, Bridget Watson, Donovan De Paz, Black Italian, Jay Brown, Alex Jano, Mr. and Mrs. Dottyman, Chopper John West from the chopping block, who is our personal Ian Harding.
And now the power that the politician has and the influence is wielded through getting goons to destroy people's reputations on social media. That's where it has gone. That's where the power and influence of the politician is now present. So these groups exist, funded, taken care of by some of our political representatives. And that is their new influence of power.
All right, let me stop that. Now, Josh Davis, let me ask you a question, because you want to put yourself in trouble, you know. And we are putting you on notice. Now, Josh Davis, do you have any evidence of People's National Party paying anyone on social media to speak as it relates to the People's National Party political mandate? Do you have that evidence, sir? Think of what you're saying. But this goes to show that you are a spin machine, speaking out of terms without evidence and cannot substantiate your statement. But it is not about you. Today, I am going to rest you aside until you push the limit where you have to deal with me. For the person who pushed the limit, no one has to deal with me. I am going to address that. This person just now. Let me get into it. Out of order and bright. Totally out of your place. Huh? Totally out of your place. Now, go ahead, my dear.
Guys, my phone died. I'm so busy at talk, I not even realize that the phone did. Or the phone was dying. But it's charging now. I finish up my thought here, so. I finish up my thought here, so. Yeah, as I was saying, the boy them with PNP. I first me see this. You have a political party. I know them time here. All over the world, and not just Jamaica, all over the world in them time here. You have independent journalism. And every political party in the world are affiliated with independent journalists or independent media, whatever you want to call them. And this opposition, PNP, the only independent or source of so-called independent media, and I'm not even classifying them as independent media, because when you're out here to lie on people, you are no friggin' independent media. You're nothing but a liar, and they soon pay for kill you. You're the on borrowed time. Nasty boy, you're the on borrowed time. They soon kill you. I just sure they don't want to look obvious yet, but they soon kill you. Because you can't get up every day and tell like on people. And somebody head now go chip out like how your head chip out and then do your things. That's what you come out here about. You're not no friggin' independent media. You just come out here, come and give the flamboyance and them something there. And the only people that really listen to you are some little lonely woman. Some little lonely woman with nothing else going on in their life but to sit down and listen to you. That's it. So now me go down in a Manuel Road. Me go down in it. So look a nasty boy them like you in a PNP where I send you come out here, come call me name. Tell them some come out here, come bust it and call for them name. Because me not go argue with you, because you mad, you know. But you see the one them when on a Bellevue papers, I feed them secret, me I come out here and talk, you know. And me I started Peter Bunting, you know. Me I start with him. And when me start, nobody can tell me if I done. You understand? And you see the Dan where you see the pan phone and your instruction and I tell you what to do and who you figure do it with. I'll film name me I call to, you know. So if you know a good film that Dan there, then come out, come draw your back in. Call you talk about you're mad, you're not mad, you know. You're not mad. Because you know what you do. You know what you do. And if you come out, you come cry mad. Me come out, you come cry mad too. And me, you just go down in the mud. I me not care. I want me start call everybody name now. You see them like how you record the people them. And they leak you out and you come out, you come and cry. Because you think they must go and kill you. This is going to be different. Me not fight baby war, you know. You know, see what I do? I take on a whole political organization, you know.
Well.
I mean, not out here look no war with nobody.
All right. Let me stop from share. Let me stop, right? Share this and proceed as it relates to now using reverse psychology, right? In terms of your, also after you threaten, right? A very dangerous threat. We want for you to reveal the plot therein, because obviously you know about a plot, you understand, to execute. Obviously you know about a plot. So this is very serious to all of us, and we are not going to stand by, right, and allow anyone to threaten our lives, right, and inflict any harm to any one of us. So we are going to take care of you by putting you into the judiciary. Madam, stand by. I know you are watching, you know. Stand by. Let us show you in terms of your reverse psychology, because you start to realize that what you have said, right, you have crossed the line. Let us share that.
Anyway, we never hear in the coming days what got happen.
Yeah.
What got between me and the nasty boy over the Obia channel.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So we are not going to make you hear in the coming days. We are going to deal with it right now. Right? Now, I am going to show you something that you need to be aware of. Let me make you be aware of this. And I am giving you that awareness that you need to anticipate these actions coming forward. Let me just get into it. Let me just make sure that I have everything locked here. Now, let me just share something as it relates to your history, where people must understand your history of violence and what you had executed.
Breaking news, Jamaica. Natalie Price, aka Natalie Stacker, one maroon warrior, charged Jamaica with sexual abuse. First degree sexual abuse. This woman upon your screen, Natalie Stack on Facebook, we are going like she has smaddy. See her mugshot here, Jamaica. We dig up her criminal record. The woman, she got in Florida to go look about when her friend baby. Yes, Jamaica. I me tell her what she did, the little girl. She use her finger the little girl, finger the woman pitney, and make the little girl piss up herself. The little girl complain to her mother and say, Mommy, Natalie stuck pee-pee in my pom-pom. I saw the little girl best could have described it and then bring her before the court of law and them send her to jail. Yeah, the little girl turn up in a courthouse and say, Mommy, Natalie stuck pee-pee in my pom-pom. You know when time we don't have sex and you reach a climax, what happened? And that's the best way the little girl could have described it. She said, Natalie stuck pee-pee in my pom-pom. You, Natalie stuck, you is a sex offender. You is a predator, sex offender. You're not supposed to come and no internet come bring your mouth to nobody. I'm in need for telling you about this one, yeah, because she used one of my friend we work at the airport, send her passport.
All right, make we stop this. Stop sharing that. Right? Let us get down back into the juggling because we don't want to. We are building the chronological sequence. You know, everything that you see that we are presenting, that's the way we are going to present the file, right? Where we are going to have an attachment as it relates to a report attached to that. So let us share this. Now, let me just remind her as it relates to her breaches within 2 jurisdictions. Balancing cyber bullying and free speech in Jamaica. Jamaica primary defense against cyberbullying is the Cyber Act of 2015, which criminalizes malicious communication via electronic means, targeting acts like sending threatening or obscene messages with intent to harm. A 2018 conviction set a precedent. A man who was prosecuted for sending threatening WhatsApp messages and explicit images to a woman. One of the act's first successfully cases, the ruling was clarion call. Online abuse could face real world consequences. Let me just take that away. I'm only showing you this. Now, the state where you are from, Natalie, I am going to show you why you need to worry. I am going to show you why you need to worry, Natalie. I am going to show you why this is extremely serious, where you are concerned, and we are going to ensure we proceed. Look, do you believe that we are just speaking? Whatever you want to do, Natalie, just prepare everything what you want to do, because we are coming. Don't worry about that. We are going to make a perfect example out of you. And so then anybody who have any plan, any GLP people who have any plan, that they believe that when we travel and they believe that, okay, we are in an area where they think they can execute their number 3. Yes. And this is one of the reasons why we must discipline this person. Now, let me show you what hang over your head. We are in no joke. We are in no joke. So here it is. What are the penalties for electronic threats of harm in Florida? So I am now in your jurisdiction, Natalie. I am now in your jurisdiction. And here is the felony. Harsh felony penalties apply if an offender electronically sends or posts any digital message in any form, text, graphic, video, audio, pictures that contains a threat to harm or kill the victim. This crime is a felony in the 2nd degree, punishable by up to 15 years in prison, and also come with a fine of $10,000. US dollars. We are you today. Eh? You're big, you're mighty, and you're powerful. You're big, and you're mighty, and you're powerful, and you believe that you can, vloggers within the Jamaica Labour Party can send their threat. But you see, like, oh, you expose, we are going to deal with you and send an example to them. Now, Melting Pot, let me bring you in and have your input on this.
This individual, that sick individual, as far as I'm concerned, because she should have known as it relates to online social media what you can do from what you cannot do. So I'm just trying to, relate in my own term. How did she get it so wrong that she run out and a bully online and a threaten online a citizen from Jamaica using some very strong language, and some very strong words of threat. One particular circumstance, she mentioned that the individual got beaten and think him go dead, but this time I know so it go. It go more than where him did think say him go dead. So if you do think say you go dead and you're not go dead, and she upgraded, that mean you go dead. And that me dissect it to be. And she can come out and use that narrative towards no Jamaican citizen. Whether it's a blogger or no blogger. Probably is a Jamaican citizen and we hear any individual anywhere in the world and make them thread comment there, them have to face the penalty. And so, as you, Sir Byron, just point out and outline and show in what form and what context you are going to present this to the relevant authority, she must prepare for what coming next. Well, you have just shown her so she can prepare. It's a 15-year and a 10,000 US dollar fine. That's what is on the card. So we have seen a lot of people, try to demonstrate this monsterism for the Jamaican Labour Party against people who oppose their views and their political mandate. Well, they don't have a political mandate to begin with. Yeah? But these individuals, yeah, and I've seen several of them, they literally use words that should not be associated with a platform and a continuous space. Not even like a break in it. Yeah? And so we find that very, very concerning. It's also offensive in one way, yeah, but concerning in a higher degree. Because threatening people's life, yeah, is something that comes with prison term and fine. Especially when it's been done on a platform where it's been televised and broadcast right around the world. And I mean, we know for a fact that the Jamaica Labour Party, yeah, they constituted their social media warrior. Yeah, they were successful with their social media warrior. They were under no threat from any other source or means where the online platform was concerned then. Things has taken a turn and, people from within the People's National Party affiliation form their own platform, have their own free speech, make their own comment. I don't hear anyone threatening anyone from the Jamaica Labour Party. But whenever there are certain strong line of comment in regard to their party, them run out with threat. Now, we have to put a stop to that. We can't be sitting here and allowing unscrupulous people with unscrupulous mentality to act in malicious ways, using social media platform, trying to paint themselves to be this big monster when they are a piece of shit. As a concerned Jamaican, yeah, we must be concerned about Jamaica, not individual. So when people take to the platform and voice their opinion in regards to what is happening in Jamaica, which can be proven to be of solid substance, then who is any individual to come out and push back against such comment being made by an individual who has a democratic right that is known as freedom of speech, who is using a platform that is certified, a platform that comes with certain, regulation. So we can't have this individual who is a no-life individual targeting Jamaican who come on platform to voice their opinion. And if she's getting whatever sum from her affiliated associate who she's blogging for, we don't have no problem with that. The problem what we have is when you attack a person with a different opinion from what you associate yourself to. The Prime Minister of Jamaica is the man in charge. And I'm not going to sit here and say he instructs you. I would be out of my realms to say such thing. What I'm saying, just recently in Parliament, members from your party come out and putting in place a law that will govern platform and people who work on platform for dissemination and all these type of things. Yeah, for misinformation, disinformation, for crime, for fraud, for all type of various activity. That's the law they want to pass. So I can understand how you sit from where you live and put out a video like this, attacking an individual using terms of mental disorder and stating that you know that the person is that mentally disordered, but you will, put yourself to the level of a mental disorder so you and him can go down Manuel Road. What you call Manuel Road, I don't know. You need to tell people what is Manuel Road. Because where you are from, yeah, you have to take a plane going to Jamaica to carry out such activity. Or I don't know if you're going to make a phone call in Jamaica. Because earlier on in your line that you present in the video, you said just because them not ready yet, because them not want it look obvious. No, that is a serious remark. If you don't know, Melting Pot tell you. You are telling the world, that you and your associate just waiting for the right time to strike. So it just look like this individual they're on borrowed time. Seems like this individual is on borrowed time, basically. So I don't know you going to answer to this when the right time come. Because somehow you like enough up on yourself and feel like you want to impose on yourself on people, but you know a shit. You know nobody. You understand? Because nobody now afraid of no individual. To the extent where them allow people to cow them down and take away them freedom of speech, which come with the Constitution in Jamaica. So I don't know who will allow you as a piece of garbage. Yeah? Low-life individual who has been implicated based on, certain electronic evidence, showing your mugshot and all these things. Tell the type of individual you are. And just look at how you, put yourself in your profile. Maroon warrior. Well, let me tell you something, girl. Me's a maroon. But me and a warrior. Me is a true patriotic Jamaican who stand for what? Truths and rights and justice. And I know fellow Maroon, yeah, think the same like me. Them don't think like you. You can't face the war. Well, if you want a war, you're going to get a war in the judicial system. So prepare for that war. Go get your bone and run all the thing when none used to fight with. Because you can't go in there with nothing else, you know. You can't go in there go threat them people, eh? So I don't know how you go manage. So you spend time when you try to rock the boat. You have to make sure you know so you can't swim and you drop out of the boat. So prepare to take a swim. I yield back the floor to you, Sir Byron.
Wonderful melting pot in terms of stating that. And we have to make sure that we cement that, right? And we are going to pursue as it relates to giving that report, right? I personally understand I'll be drafting that report. So at the end of the day, you understand we have to take this serious, right? And of course, you know, I will contact the relevant people and deal with it accordingly. Not too way about that. I am very serious, particularly where I am concerned in terms of the frequency of my traveling, right? That the plan could be that I could be on your list. So we have to make sure that we do what needs to be done and ensure that we send a strong message out there, right? Out of the extreme, gone beyond, uncalled for, unwarranted.
Yeah.
Totally.
And we have to make sure that the pill where you go swallow is a bitter pill. Yeah? Right. It's a bitter pill you go swallow. Your tooth stink.
Believe you me, we are ensuring that the book finger herb. Believe you me, this is a mission for us, and we are not. Right?
No, we can't do it on it. We have to carry it out.
We have to deal with
because
this.
We have to make sure we lay the foundation for future uprising like this.
And let me say this, and I know
we have to stamp it out once and for all.
Yes, melting pot. I know that Brother Rattigan is listening to us. And Brother Rattigan, stand by. I will be calling you. Tomorrow we'll be having some conversation around this. I will be preparing some stuff, right, to deal with it accordingly. So we will be having a dialogue shortly. As I said, I know you are listening. All right. Now, let me say this, Jamaica. We are going to get into the history of the corruption as it relates to permanent secretaries, because many Jamaicans, right, are unaware, right, of certain things. And where we have, right, comrade leader.
1 second, Sir Byron. I can just interject you 1 second. Colleen Anderson, she's saying, oh, YouTube allow it. No, Colleen, it was done on TikTok, not YouTube, Colleen. Go ahead, Sir Byron.
Yes, okay. All right, let me hear the caller. Caller, just call. Let me just go to the caller. Caller, you're on Mystic Sensation. Go ahead.
Hi, Mystic.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. I want to put in my little part in this thing because this is something that has been bothering me.
Thank you.
Since I listened to Andre last night, and this is what happened. And what I have to tell this woman is that she has been reported to the FBI, and her voicemail has been sent. And she can prepare
Okay.
Because the bottom line is we do not do our people like this.
Exactly.
We do not take politics and fight against our people. And we do not put people down. And this is what I must tell her. I have watched Andre through his hardship and all that he underwent. And we are the people who help him to put him on his feet. And nobody in Jamaica is going to take advantage of Andre Stevens and let us see, because we will destroy them. And we are going to destroy her and report her to the United States government, which already done, and deport our fucking ass back to Jamaica.
No, she has to go to prison first.
Yeah, she has to go to prison first.
If she can go to prison here, fine. Because all her information has been sent to Patel, who is in charge of FBI here in the US.
Yes.
I do not agree with anyone to put anyone down. Andre Stephen is like my son. I know the hardship Andre went through. And we have been with him, and we have stood by him. And anybody in Jamaica tried to destroy Andre, we will destroy them. And she's going to get destroyed. And I'm going to see to it she get it. So take care.
Thank you very much for that. Right. Thank you very much for that. Out of place, unnecessary, unwarranted. But we have to nip it in the bud. We are not going to tolerate something like this. And we have to, Jamaica, make an example out of her. And definitely, we are going to do it. Right? Definitely make an example out of her. And we want others to see what is going to happen. Now, let me just get into some serious history, Jamaica, and let me speak as it relates to the level of corruption that we have been seeing. Melting pot, right? And myself have been covering this and putting permanent secretaries under the microscope. The permanent secretaries have the key to our treasury. And we have seen that the Andrew Holness administration have used the permanent secretaries, right, in a way as it relates to his political interest. I am getting another call. Let me just take this other call before we get into that. Yes, caller, you're on Mystic Sensation. Please go ahead, sir.
Mr. Byron.
Oh, madam, sorry. I'm sincere. Oh, yes, go ahead.
Mr. Byron. How you doing, sir? Good blessing,
I'm good, thank you.
All right, thank you.
I'm sitting here and I am so upset with this girl.
Oh, yes.
This girl is a convicted rapist. She cannot go near no school. She cannot go near no church. She cannot go near where no children is allowed. And then Andre, who is doing so much for Jamaica. I am an American citizen. I live here for over 40 years. And I called in too. It's time for her to face her judgment, and little did she know. Antoine is going to throw her under the bus. She's fighting a losing battle. Because Antoine does not care about her, but she's fighting against people for Antoine. What have Andre done to you? Because the American government gave him a visa to come here. Antoine is not looking for Andre is not looking to run off. The guy is trying. Last night when I watched Andre, I felt it to my heart. I felt it. He suffered so much. But at the end of the day, he is the first to help when Jamaica is falling down. He has done so much for the people in Melissa. And they want to tell me you're going to trick the guy. The FBI need to bring her in. This is not just a single talking. This is not just saying. There's a plot.
Yes.
But God always let them say what needs to be known.
Oh, yes.
There's a plot out there for Andre. And she's going to say the only reason why he's not dead yet is because they don't want finger pointing back. Guess what happened? God let her reveal to us that finger is pointing back. And what you're trying to hide, and what they are trying to hide, we see it in her. You're a rapist. The FBI need to pick her up right now. She needs to go to jail. I don't want her going back to Jamaica right now. I need her to go to jail. Andre is coming to America. And then when Andre comes to America, he has to look back and forth because anything can happen. You know how America runs. We have gun level all over the place. Who don't hold, who don't have to hold, who don't want to hold. Everybody can do a thing. And they are everywhere. This young guy come to Jamaica, come to America, and then they kill him. His body goes home in a crate because you said what you have to say. Come on now, man. Leave the guy alone. He's fighting for Jamaica and fighting for us, even we in the diaspora. Why you want to hurt him? Leave him alone. You understand? I made my complaint. And I'm not going to stop calling because I've been in this country for 40 years. And there's nothing I do have not even a parking ticket on my record. You understand? Andre is doing what he has to do. If it was not Andre and you and everybody else making sensation, when loans up at topic and everybody, Jeffrey the virus, ADR and everybody who wouldn't have known what's going on. Leave Andre alone. Leave the guy alone. Why you don't want to kill him? Because he's talking the truth and talking everything that he knows about you. All Andre is saying is the truth. And I'm not going to sit idly by and let them kill him for the truth. You understand? Why you calling threatening the guy? The girl look like a damn goat, you know, them big goat where them are jumping all over the place. The girl is a rapist.
Yes.
They can't tell nobody Andre rape nobody.
Exactly.
They call him everything in the book. He's still striving, you know.
All right.
Leave him alone. They need to listen to Mr. Byron. I'm asking you. If it's the last thing you do, you have more clarity because you know what to do.
Yes.
Please make sure that this girl be upright.
No.
You have to use her as an example.
Yes, we are going to do it. We are going to do it.
Yes,
No two way about
please do.
it.
I'm begging you now. Because if Andre gets hurt now, I'm going to feel it because I have 5 sons. And I love Andre. And if they hurt him, I'm going to hurt.
Yeah.
Please do, Mr. Byron, and I'm begging you. I am begging you, make sure whatever you have to do, make sure use she as an example. Send her to jail.
All right.
She didn't go to jail for raping the people in Gaza. Make sure she goes to jail for threatening Andre. Please, I'm begging you. I'm begging you, Mr. Byron.
All right.
I love your wife. Mr. Nathan Pat, best of yourself, Mr. Byron, please, I beg you too. Make sure that you got jail for me.
All right. Thank you for that.
Love you, I love you.
Love you. Love you too. And we are going to ensure that, of course, right, we deal with that. For the caller who is calling, you can call now because the lady had finished her conversation. So if you want to call back now is the time to do that before I move on to the next subject. Let me just allow you a minute. But I mean, when we look on, to be honest, melting pot.
Yes.
Right? When we look on all the work that Andre had done, right? Because many of us, right, we are not there in Jamaica who can go out in the field, right? He has done that.
Definitely.
Yes, caller, you're on Mystic Sensation. Please go ahead.
Mr. Mystic, greetings to you and may
and Miss Anu.
Blessings.
I am going to be like a minute.
Yes.
So it is very short. You know, I was thinking last night when I heard Andrew calling out those names. The red one, the one woman came and called her. The white sepulchre. Here's the deal. It was alleged 3 years ago or so when Chili Caldwell's baby mama and the baby died that she is the one who stayed in Jamaica, called over here to tell the girl Bradshaw about the relationship and the girl enraged and go out. This is their mode of operation. They will pay pills from one end of the earth to the other and mess up people's lives. Do not ease up on this one.
No.
The red woman, she needs to go back to prison because she won't shut her mouth. She needs to go to prison. But I'm telling you this, don't ease up on this one because it was alleged that she did it, and now when I see what happened last night, I have a feeling she is one of the persons who called this girl here and see the young girl and her child gone home to glory and them having a happy time.
All right.
So do whatever anybody can do, get in touch with whoever the authorities and put them under manners, them to out of order.
Exactly. We are definitely.
Thank you very much for this.
You're more than welcome, my dear. You're more than welcome. Right. We are definitely right going to deal with the report, right? And of course, we will be speaking to the relevant persons, right, and proceed accordingly, right? That definitely we are going to do. Not two way about that. Not joke about that. All right. So when it comes to the situation as it relates to permanent secretary, I am going to open a can of worm that a lot of people, right, are not aware of. And we have seen how Andrew Holness place permanent secretaries to not to see the things that are wrong and report on them accordingly, but to show you how he systemically, right, attaches himself, and so then the level of criminality had taken place. Now I'm going to speak, and I'm glad that the way we do things over here, when we speak, we bring forth evidence. There is one particular permanent secretary that I'm going to speak about today. I want people to listen to me. That permanent secretary being rooted from 2008. I want people to listen to me keenly. Straight through Andrew Holness ministries that reported many misappropriation of funds. Many funds being unaccounted for. You're going to see how this permanent secretary, as it relates to Andrew Holness, work her way through, and where Andrew Holness had now promoted that permanent secretary to cabinet secretary, to involve, to in charge of all permanent secretaries. So Andrew Holness strategically mastermind, lock it down, put her key, because this person has key to the treasury. Now, let us talk about the history of this person. This person, father, had organized and killed a permanent secretary in Jamaica. Woo! Byron, what the heck you just said? This person, father, had organized and killed a permanent secretary in Jamaica. Let me take this call. Right? And so then we are going to highlight it to show you the background of this permanent secretary. As a matter of fact, the project that caused the permanent secretary death, this very same permanent secretary had worked on that particular project. Now, let me show you Jamaica. Come with me. Let me show you the history. So Andrew Holness is very much calculated. Not signing the code of conduct because he knows that he's coming to do what as it relates to his illicit enrichment. So he ensured not signing the code of conduct, but the plans that he engineered, that he put in. Now look at this. Jamaica. Let us read this together. Let us read this together, my Jamaican people. Here it is. Permanent Secretary gunned down in broad daylight, January 7, 2013. After alleged it and Ted Ogilvy, George Flash, Tony Brown fled to Cuba, it was a murder that shocked the nation. In broad daylight on June 16, 1977, hitman gunned down Edward Ted Ogilvy, permanent secretary in the Ministry of Construction, as he stood at the gate to his Lydia Drive home in Avondale, St. Andrew. Ogilvy had gone home for lunch and was returning to his car when two men on a motorcycle rode up and shot him twice in the head. Yes, Jamaica, this has been done. The shooters were later confronted by two policemen on foot patrol, but got away after a brief gun battle. First rushed to a Medical Associates Hospital, Ogilvy was transferred to the University of Hospital, where he later succumbed to his injuries. Dr. John McCartney, consultant neurosurgeon at the Kingston Public Hospital, would later testify that he had examined Ogilvy on the afternoon of June 16, 1977, and found that Ogilvy died as a result of brain damage resulting from bullet wounds. At the time of his death, he had been in the midst of conducting an audit of a housing project. Listen to Jamaican people as to what caused this person's death. And you are going to see the permanent secretary that sprung from this. And where Andrew Holness had made that permanent secretary now into cabinet secretary. At the time of his death, he had been in the midst of conducting an audit of a housing project in the deprived East Kingston community of McGregor Gully, where it was alleged that some 1.9 million was spent on the project in just 6 weeks, apparently overshooting budget targets, just like over the hospital. Hold on, this caller have been calling me. Let me just take this caller. Yes, caller, you're on Mystic Sensation. Please go ahead.
Yes, afternoon, Sir Byron.
Good afternoon, my brother.
Yeah, man, regarding the presentation that you just made.
Yes.
Remember the comment that Chopper John made leading up to the election as well. So it's a ploy and a tactics that they are using. Yeah, that's that I have to say.
Okay, yes, and you're right, because I think Chopper John did make a trick as it relates to the Trelawney area where Dalrymple were leadership.
His exact word that he was willing to come to Jamaica to pick up arms, defend the its government. That was his exact word.
Okay, all right. So we have to get, my brother, we have to get to the bottom of this. Don't worry about that. And we are going to deal with it very effectively. All right. Thank you for the call. All right. Now, it is against that background that in June 1980, a jury of 12, after hearing evidence, convicted a former superintendent of works, Weston Dyer, of 17 Florida Avenue, Independence City, St. Catherine, on charges of conspiracy to murder and incitement to murder arising out of the death of his ministry. What Audrey Sewell's full name? Audrey Dyer Sewell. Jamaica. This is Audrey Sewell's father. At the time, Audrey Sewell was working on this particular construction project with her father. Dyer was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment at hard labor on the conspiracy to murder charge and 6-year imprisonment on the indictment to murder charge. Right? The sentences to run concurrently. So we are showing Jamaica the history of this. Let me stop share this. We don't play when we are doing our investigation around here. Now, let me just get serious and get into Audrey Sewell's profile and show you how she has been used by Andrew Holness, right? And nothing as it relates to all the levels of corruption through the various ministries, Audrey Sewell has nothing to report. Let us make Jamaica know that. And this is how Andrew Holness has been protected as it relates to his level of corruption. And when we are talking about the procurement rules and guidelines, right? Audrey Sewell is the person who in charge of all permanent secretaries. All permanent secretaries have to report to Audrey Sewell. Now let us look at this. Profile. We are tracking you, Andrew Holness, right? So you can send out your goons. Now let us look at this. Let me bring it up so that the people can see it. Increase this. Right? So your goons can come after me. Now, the Honorable Audrey V. Sewell became Cabinet Secretary on 1st August 2023. Mr. Sewell was an MSc in Human Resource Development and a Bachelor's of Science, right, in Management Studies from the University of West Indies. Additionally, she holds a certificate in Management Studies from the UWI and an advanced certificate in Educational Administration and Leadership jointly from the Swedish Institute of the National Development and Vocational Development Institute. A graduate of the Chartwood Teachers College, Mr. Sewell also pursued studies in research methodology at the University of Michigan. Career: a trained teacher by profession, having taught at several institutions at the secondary level, Mr. Sewell was instrumental in the launch of the Art Trust NTA in 1982. She subsequently assumed formal full-time employment with the aforementioned institution in April 1984. She served the Art Trust NTA in various capacities throughout the years, and lastly, as Director of Academia in 2004. Ms. Sewell later served as Principal Director of the Justice Ministry Justice Training Institute, JTI, from 2004 to 2008. Under her leadership, the JTI was registered by the University Council of Jamaica. Additionally, Mr. Sewell expanded the offerings provided by the JTI and positioned the organization as the justice training hub within the Caribbean. Now, let us look at this, the last paragraph, which is very important. Very important. In 2008, when Andrew Holness decided to do all this wrong, 2008 take out ADMAT in St. Lucia, ready to do all his high level of criminality. ADMAT was taken out. Ventured into SSL 2008. And then you have several contracts being awarded to Gavin. Who provided cover for that? Who didn't report? None of those misappropriation as it relates to activities where the permanent secretary, right, who in charge of critical areas as it relates to the Ministry of Education, Transport Works, you will notice, Jamaica, that all the areas that Sewell working to are those areas being ravished by Andrew Holness. In 2008, Mr. Sewell was appointed permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education. We know what happened to the Ministry of Education. We know. In 2011, she was reassigned to the Ministry of Transport Works and Housing. In February 2016, Mr. Sewell was assigned to serve as permanent secretary in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. Right? Billions of dollars be missing from all of these areas. Later that year, she was also appointed to serve as permanent secretary in the office of the Prime Minister. They're so fast, Andrew Holness pulling her through to guide him as it relates to his level of criminality. Performing both roles simultaneously. You have a lot to answer for as it relates to the Jamaican people. Now take this away. Where am I going? Let us get into the deep blue sea of corruption. Now, let me check my notes here. Let us get and show Jamaica people, open it up so Jamaican people can understand as it relates to where Audrey Sewell control all the permanent secretaries and where the corruption started as it relates to the period between 2007 to 2009 and where Audrey Sewell stand in the middle of that. Andrew Holness being protected by her. Look at this. Let us get to the proof. And so then Zara Burton had done her investigation and generate the full cap report for better understanding. Let us look at this. Here it is. Robert Garvin, whose company got millions in government contract, was also a director of foundation linked to Prime Minister Andrew Holness. In all of these activities, Audrey Sewell was the permanent secretary. After 18 Degrees North recently revealed how Prime Minister Andrew Holness Positive Jamaica Foundation Limited raised about 58.3 million or $486,000 US dollars, 182 between 2012 and 2020 with no specific as to the source of funding. 18 Degrees North has been taking a look at the non-profit directors during that same time period. Some of them benefited from taxpayers' money shortly after or while being a director of the foundation, and another non-profit linked to Mistress Holness. Remember, waking up people. The recent person, the permanent secretary, that being promoted recently that is causing where Mark Golding is addressing that. She was a part of this right? Organization as it relates to Jamaica Foundation Limited. She was instrumental in this. Now, Robert Gavin is one of them. He served as a director of Positive Jamaica alongside Mr. Onus from its inception in November 2011. The foundation was incorporated less than a month after Mr. Onus became Prime Minister for the first time. Now, let us get down to the meat of the matter, right, and building up the chronological sequence for you guys. The relationship between Mr. Gavin and Mr. Onus date back more than 20 years, people. Mr. Onus had said that Mr. Gavin had worked for him in various capacities, including a project manager liaison officer for his West Central St. Andrew constituency since 1997, long before that job became an official position. Watch this, people. 3 years later, in 2000, Mr. Gavin also became a director of another non-profit West Central St. Andrew Trust, which he and Mr. Onus founded that year along with others for the welfare, education, and development of the people in that constituency. Of note is that notification of his directorship status was only received by the company's office 7 years later in 2007. Now, this can't happen in a no first world country. The brother would have gone to prison long time, and Jonas would have gone to prison. Mr. Gavin also shared directorship with Mr. Onus or his wife, Juliet, and 3 other entities. When you come, people, when you come look for the corruption. When you come. Here it is. Mr. Gavin also shared directorship with Mr. Onus or his wife, Juliet, and 3 other entities, namely Omega Bridge Finance, Sunshine Mobile Company Limited, and the Leader Taxi Service Limited, all shell companies created by Andrew Onus. To do what? Rob taxpayers, rob investors. Criminal indeed. As 18 Degrees North first reported in a TV expose in May 2016, the Leader Taxi Service and Sunshine Mobile were removed from the registry by the company office in 2011 and 2018. Why? Avoiding them from being investigated. Criminal in nature, criminal in DNA, for not having filed outstanding documents. Because you see, it is what we call shell companies. Lies fabricated. Some of these companies that he mentioned here didn't even exist. Talk to me, people. The Leader Taxi Service cannot be found nowhere. Nowhere. No one have evidence of its existence. The viciousness that Andrew Onus had done. While Mr. Gavin had this business relationship with the Onus, millions of dollars in government contracts, some from areas where Mr. Onus had influence, were awarded to Westcon Construction Limited, a company backed by Mr. Gavin and the man named Donovan Simpson. Mr. Simpson told 18 Degrees North in its 2016 expose, the 3 of us are friends, referring to himself, Mr. Gavin, and Mr. Onus. He also said Mr. Gavin and Mr. Onus are very, very close. The permanent secretary didn't mind, did not investigate this. The permanent secretary allowed this and signed off on every contract being given. As a result of the broadcast, this reporter, Global Reporters for the Caribbean LLC, the company behind 18 Degrees North and its broadcast television Jamaica Limited, were sued for defamation by both Minister Onus and Gavin because them things said them sued them lawsuit could have avoided Zara Burton from making the report. They want to silence Zara Burton. They want to suppress her. They don't want the information to come out. But here we're going on, people. Both lawsuits were resolved under confidential terms. But my Jamaican people and all those following me, we could break down confidential terms. Because number one, it simply means, my Jamaican people, that they had lost the case with Zara Burton. Am I lying? They brought Zara Burton. Zara Burton defended herself, right? Where it was quite apparent that the evidence that Zara Burton had spoken about was indeed true. But this goes to tell you, Jamaica. The resolutions don't disturb an earlier ruling in a separate legal matter giving 18 Degrees North and TVJ the right to rebroadcast the episode. So let us ask the question, Jamaica, and people in the chat, because you know we're not fool. If Zara Burton did lose the case, she wouldn't have the right to rebroadcast. Should have been instructed to take down everything in terms of her post, because that now would be defaming Andrew Holness. But Zara Burton was given the right to continue to rebroadcast. Simply mean Andrew Holness lose the case. Simply mean that the evidence overwhelming, and that's why I tell you, Andrew Holness, the day you step in the judiciary, the day you get F-U-C-K. Any day you step in the judiciary, you're gone. So let me ask you something, Commissioner of Police. Let me ask you. You only have strength for Superintendent of Police, Cameron? Eh? You and your little hypocrite self, you look politically motivated. You're a political operative. Stemming from the broadcast, Jamaica, then Office of the Contractor General, which was made defunct and whose function has now been assumed by the Integrity Commission, investigated. Now, the Integrity Commission found that between, listen now, people, go get into the corruption. And let me ask, Permanent Secretary, Audrey Sewell, you signed off on every single contract. The Integrity Commission found that between 2006 and 2009, there were at least 46 government contracts valued at about $57.5 million. US $776,643 awarded to Westcon contract. 10 of them amounting to around $21.9 million, $295,000 from the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. Most of those, while Mr. Holness was minister, 2 of them valued at just over $1.8 million for the Community Organization Agency Social Development Commission for work in Mr. Holness constituency, and 34 of them worth $33.8 million for the National Work Agency that oversees roads, with a few of them also being for work in Mr. Holness constituency. Mr. Holness influencing contract to award to his friend that he know him over 20 years. 20 years. And where his friend is a director in 3 of his companies. Audrey Sewell, you the Permanent Secretary, you didn't know that. The contracts that you signed off on, you didn't know this? You have opened, you have given Andrew Holness the key to the Treasury. And now Andrew Holness made you Permanent Secretary for the Cabinet. When you look on a level of nastiness, look on a level of nastiness. And when Mark Golding now coming out on his press conference, you have journalists who don't seek to understand that we want to stop corruption in Jamaica. We want to get rid of Andrew Holness and his level of corruption in this country. But you send out your attackers to attack us, while the truth is daring in your face. But you decide not to challenge the truth. You want to challenge us. And you want to threaten us. You want to tell us plans as it relates to one of your political thugs. Threatening us. Well, we are here. Now, Melting Pot, let me bring you in, right, to close it up for us. Close it up for us, Melting Pot. Because you know we have to take on the Titans later. All right, so you have it to close.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, me and you have been through this anti-swell saga several occasions. So we adverse to everything that took place throughout that time. And who was who at the time? At the time, Andrew Swell was Arjun Dyer. You understand? And we know our dad was the man who was, you know, behind the McGregor Gully housing project. And we know Ogilvy was permanent secretary at the time. And we know them that rob a lot of money. Yeah. Because, you know, over a 6-week period, you know, yeah, $1.9 million spent on the said project. Money just a run with so. So when Ogilvy step in, yeah, it raise eyebrow and them decide to number 3 Ogilvy, yeah, leave the site to him home, we have lunch, gun down at his gate. And, you know, that was the end of Ogilvy, basically. After medical tried to, you know, save him life. Couldn't save him. It was such a severe attack. And them go for number 3, you know, because you have to get rid of him. He must see too much at the time. He must go uncover the corruption we are going. So we know everything in regards to this individual. Yeah, the role and responsibility where she play, who she affiliated to, you know, who she carry out them work professionally for, so that them can empower themselves. And so she's been rewarded. Yeah, she's been rewarded to the highest member within the secretary of the government ministerial role. She's now the cabinet secretary. Formerly, she served as permanent secretary. But based on over the years, from 2008, how much work she has put in, she's been rewarded. Yeah. But in other jurisdiction elsewhere in the world, she could never get that job. She could never be a permanent secretary in the first place. Based on what took place, yeah, and who was implicated. The person was her dad. It was her father. And she was working on the project as well at the time. Surprisingly, them never list that in our profile. But nevertheless, yeah, she played some major role in anti-corruption. She guide and protect anti-corruption. And it's a wide range of corruption she preside over. That's why she has now been, you know, elevated to cabinet secretary. And that's where Andrew wants her to be. God, this is why we have seen all the ministry under Andrew Holness administration as Prime Minister of the country. They fall foul of the law in terms of no procurement guideline is being done by the permanent secretary in these ministry. So when the auditor them going, them find things not in place in accordance to what should have been in place. But who preside over all these permanent secretaries? Andrew Sewell. Yeah, it's Andrew Sewell, you know. A film girl, man. So make we big her up that way there. Andrew Sewell. A film girl. Him have to keep her close to his side. Because with she, everything is all right for Andrew. Now, when you look on how much contract Robert Gavin get from the Prime Minister, unbelievable. Contract that was awarded to Gavin using the process of cronyism. Andrew Crony. And contract is supposed to be handed out like that. When you look on the amount of foundation where Andrew and Gavin presided over, where Andrew orchestrate them as foundation for uplift in constituency, where up to the road chopping at two in him constituency. Pathole, pantapa, pathole, pantapa, pathole. Sidewalk, gone. Broke down fence. Stagnated water. But Andrew collect millions in foundation charity. So, Gavin, yeah, Andrew Holness, yeah, Donovan Simpson, and you throw back Andrew Sewell in it. All of them farm that ring of corruption there, you know. All of them. And if you want to know, say, a corruption them farm, them take 7 years before them make known to the companies limited of Jamaica the status of the foundation. 7 years, my people. That is hiding identity, you know. Yes, that is hiding the true structure of the foundation. So, in everything where Andrew Wall is doing at Jamaica, it is done on a dodgy basis. Hiding things. It's only a criminal does that. Only a criminal hide evidence. You understand? Traceable evidence. Because here is Donovan Simpson now making know the relationship with him having with Gavin and Andrew. Him said they are friends. But what is significant, him tell you say Robert Gavin and Andrew Holness are very, very close friends. And that's a relationship where Andrew said dated back 20 years, 2 decades. So you know, so that encapsulates the entire lifespan of Andrew Holness' political career. This is orchestrated. That's why I tell people, say Andrew come in politics with only one ulterior motive, and it's to rob Jamaican taxpayers. Nothing else. So when I see the people in Jamaica, you know, I show up them true colors for this guy, you know. This guy is a serial robber in the country. Andrew carry out the most criminality in Jamaica. And it's plain to see. So I wonder why Jamaican people find it so hard to comprehend as to who Andrew Holness is. There are so many lists of things that prove Andrew Holness to be a high-profile criminal hiding under the disguise of a prime minister. Now, when Zara Burton push out them thing, them file lawsuit, yeah, but it was dissolved secretly. Dissolved secretly, you know.
Exactly.
That means, you know, some deal struck. And as our Lord Byron just point out, you know, And it's a man will know about real investigation and the intricacy where would, find itself within an investigation and what could find and make that investigation look corrupt is when you have secret deal. So Andrew them did lose to Zara and have to cut a deal. So so Andrew was found culpable for what Zara Burton put out. And what Zara Burton put out was high level of corruption involving several millions of dollars. Now, in one circumstance, several SDC contract for Andrew Wallace constituency. 34 of the contract worth 338 million Jamaican dollars. Have we seen anywhere for that in his constituency? No. So what Andrew did, him and Robert Gavin, 2011, them start set up a whole heap of foundation. Whole heap of foundation, people. And all these foundation was designed to do was to rob. Andrew is a serial robber. If you combine the robber them, we make history like Robin Hood. And you have the great train robber. Yeah? And all them man there. You understand? Them man then come close to Andrew in single-handedly, No. Jack the Ripper. No. Andrew, we out in front of them. Because when you look, as me I tell people, you check from 1997, when them coming to politics till now. Yeah? A 1 year less 3 decade what a robbing. Andrew forgot prison. 1 year short of 3 decade. Him figure to prison. The amount of money where Andrew take, Jamaica reflect it. Just look how the place smash up. When Andrew come, the place a flourish. Just look on the place how we know the type of money where Andrew and them cronies them have swindled out of the taxpayers' coffers. Yeah? Everything where money move from Andrew name call. Yeah, you have Dexim, 650 million up a housing trust. That not pay back all now. That not pay back all now. You understand? And we can't go on and on. When you look on the amount of Ponzi scheme with this one guy involved in unbelievable. People will get the money all now. But him, well comfortable with him, well, sit down pan. And we are talking about people of all walks of life, all description, even an elderly woman, our 60 million gone to Andrew and him cronies. You understand? Several Jamaica lose them life, literally, because if you take out mortgage, you do an investment where I'll give you 10% every month, Yeah? And when you take a stock, the schemes crash, and you don't get back nothing. You indebted to your mortgage lender, So what you have to do? You have to put up some collateral where you have, whether the car or your house, depends on the size where you borrow. But you are going to lose asset where you did have in your hand before garbage Andrew Wallace and them cronies them come tempt the people and take with the money. So Andrew has been robbing the country, using people like Gavin, using people like Andrew, Audrey, Suel. Yeah? Caffeine girl, to traverse with him through his political career, basically, them have affiliation before him turn her in a permanent secretary, Them have that affiliation. So what you look on is a long-standing associationship. And she's been greatly rewarded, yeah? And this is why, no matter the variances, we auditor them going at the ministry and find there is no consequential, what you call it now, repercussion. Everybody just get for free. People now lose them job. People now get charged, being arrested, put behind bars. Nothing. So the country turn a banana republic state under the sky. This Robin Hood we have in our country. We are robbed from the poor and I give to the rich. The original Robin Hood robbed from the rich and give to the poor. But in a Jamaica term, the Jamaican Robin Hood, Andrew Pablo Escobar, him rob from the poor and give to the rich. Jamaican people don't have to resist this type of behavior. It has gone on for nearly 3 decades. How much more we not going to endure? The country mash up. The man sell all on the beach, you know. Behind on the back, you know, and in front of the eye, you know. Him sell it in front of the Jamaican, them eyes down there. And behind our back where we in the diaspora. So we have to look on it as one Jamaica globally. You understand? Because we are from Jamaica. So even if we live in the diaspora, we have to have concern about the state of affairs in the country. Because this guy decides, well then, him have some vendetta against the entire population in Jamaica for your black and your poor. Because Andrew does not see himself as a black man.
That's no joke.
I will say it again. This guy think him white. You understand? Because him feel like so well then, him light skin complexion make him white. No, Andrew is a lunatic. Your complexion, the place where I live, you are not terms to be a white. So why you treat your own people them the way you treat them? If you're a black leader, yeah, a youth from the bowel of the poor, where I hear the Jamaican electorate say, you them a get a chance. Look what you do with them. Look how you mash them up. Look how you treat them like garbage. And you look at 5% elite them when you just live like on a sophisticated. Eh? So the Jamaican people have to wise up to this guy. This guy is a 5-star criminal in our country. Yeah? We are masquerade as a prime minister, because I'm a prime minister material. And him no surplus to requirement for run Jamaica and more. We are tell the guy to do the honorable thing. Because it's only one form of me using the word honorable in where you concern. Is do the honorable thing and resign, because you're the most dishonorable prime minister to ever grace the land of Jamaica. And I yield back the floor to you, Sir Byron.
Well, there it is, right, as it relates to Melting Pot, right, coming to an end, and the show as well coming to an end. I want to say big thanks to all persons who tune in, right. We have to come to the close because we will be appearing on Titans. So meet us over, right, Titans later, right. Again, we want to say big thanks as it relates to that. And yes, as it relates to, you know, that threat, we'll be definitely dealing with that, right? And we know that we are going to get justice, not to worry about that. Once again, thank you for tuning in to Mystic Sensation. Love you all. Melting Pot. See you later. You know, later, greater.
Of course, people make sure to tune into the Titans later on, because you know, say, the continuation, you know.
All right.
Titan is the continuation on a Thursday afternoon. So people, make sure to have a thing ready and waiting for the Titans. Love you all. Oh, see you there.
Cool.
I don't want you to come to me with that foolishness, you know. You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right kind of stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.